That's my boy. So at the end of the day, this whole process, we thought me and him were going to be 1 and 2 the whole time. Whether he's 1, I'm 2. Whether I'm 1, he's 2. And so that's just always been, our mindset. It didn't go that way. But, I mean, just coming out of college, even to the draft, I thought he was one of the better quarterbacks in the draft as well, even throughout college. He's been productive where he's been every time. We both started FCS. He was at, Jackson State. I was at Carter Word. And that's where really we met for the first time with our quarterback coach when we first got to college. And then he's always been, just a great person to be around. A lot of stuff out there on him ain't really, the truth. Just because they spin it different ways, like they spin stuff about me different ways. But, I mean, I've always thought he was a productive quarterback. I mean, a lot of people may have their own opinion. I have mine as well. But, I mean, when he gets his chance, to become a starter, I know he's going to make the most of it. And, I'm ready to get back to work with him, after the season, talk some more stuff to him, say some crazy stuff. I mean, we just
Don't skip a single second of this video. And if this story touches your heart, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments, where are you watching from? Let's begin. Every once in a while you hear a coach speak and it just sounds like noise. The same old lines. We're taking it one day at a time. He's a young player, he's learning, we'll see how things develop. That's the kind of canned answer you expect in press conferences. Nothing too revealing, nothing too bold, nothing to hang your hat on. But what Kevin Stefanski just said about Shedeur Sanders, that wasn't noise, that was a bombshell. That was a coach looking straight into the NFL world and saying, we're not here to babysit, we're here to build. And I promise you, that should have sent chills down the spine of every single team that passed on Shedeur Sanders in the draft. Stefanski didn't just check a box when he was asked about rookie development. He didn't just drop a vague coach cliche. No, he used 2 words that change everything. Extremely intentional. Do you know how rare it is for an NFL head coach to publicly admit that? That's not some throwaway comment. That's a declaration. When a coach says extremely intentional, what he's really telling you is, we've built a custom blueprint for this guy. We're tracking every rep, every meeting, every minute of his day. That's not development by accident. That's development by design. And the design is centered around one name, Shedeur Sanders. Think about it. How many times do we see rookie quarterbacks drafted, thrown into a system and left to sink or swim? It happens every single year. A guy gets picked, he's handed a playbook, and the franchise crosses their fingers. Sometimes it works, most of the time it doesn't. Stefanski is saying Cleveland isn't playing that game. They're not hoping Shedeur figures it out. They're making sure he does. That's the difference between let's see what happens, and we're building a franchise quarterback, whether you like it or not, and don't let that message slip by. Stefanski could have easily brushed the question off. He could have downplayed expectations, said Shedeur's got a lot to learn, or deferred to Watson as the starter. But he didn't. Instead, he showed his hand. He exposed the plan. And the plan screams that Cleveland isn't treating Shedeur like just another rookie buried on the depth chart. They're treating him like a long-term investment, a project they're pouring resources into, a player they believe can one day carry this franchise. You don't do that for a guy you don't believe in. You don't build a daily structure. You don't commit time. You don't craft an extremely intentional program unless you see the ceiling, unless you see greatness waiting to be unlocked. And let's be real here, Stefanski knows exactly what he's doing. He didn't stumble into this language. He didn't let it slip by accident. This was calculated. It was direct. It was aimed not just at the fans but at the league, at the media, at every single scout who labeled Shedeur too raw, too risky, or not NFL ready. Stefanski just told them, you were wrong. And if you're paying attention, this moment feels like a turning point. This feels like the quiet line in the sand where the Browns stopped talking about survival and started talking about the future. Shedeur Sanders isn't just a backup holding a clipboard. He's the quarterback Cleveland is quietly grooming to change their destiny. And if the rest of the league isn't paying attention yet, they will, because the Browns just told the world the plan is in motion. And that plan? Oh, it's about to shake the entire NFL. When you first look at Cleveland's quarterback room, it feels like chaos. You've got Deshaun Watson, a $230 million man still trying to prove he can be the guy. You've got Joe Flacco, the veteran, the Super Bowl MVP who refuses to fade into the background. You've got Bailey Zappe, a young gun who's hungry to prove he belongs. And then in the middle of all that noise, you've got Shedeur Sanders, the rookie, the outsider, the kid everyone says needs time. On paper it looks messy, like a depth chart with no real direction. But the truth is, it's not chaos, it's strategy. Because this isn't just some random collection of quarterbacks. This is an environment designed to forge steel. It's pressure stacked on top of pressure. And in the NFL, pressure either breaks you, or it makes you great. And that's exactly what Kevin Stefanski wants for Shedeur Sanders. Let's start with Watson. Whether you like him or not, you can't ignore the reality. This guy is fighting for his career. He's not the Deshaun Watson from Houston anymore. At least not yet. The spotlight is brutal, the criticism is endless, and the only way he silences it is by playing at an elite level again. That means every single rep, every snap in practice, every film session, it's all maximum intensity. And Shedeur is sitting right there, watching, learning what it looks like when a quarterback's career is on the line. That's not a distraction, that's education. Then there's Flacco. Call him old, call him washed, call him whatever you want. But the guy knows how to win. He knows how to prepare. He knows how to survive in this league. And when you've got a rookie like Shedeur in the room, soaking up veteran wisdom, you better believe those lessons stick. Think about Mahomes sitting behind Alex Smith. Think about Aaron Rodgers behind Brett Favre. Legendary quarterbacks are often born in rooms where the vets set the tone. And don't sleep on Zappe either. He's not just filler. He's the spark plug. He's the reminder that in the NFL, young quarterbacks are always knocking at the door. His presence forces Shedeur to stay sharp, forces him to compete every single day. Because if he slips, if he gets comfortable, there's another hungry kid ready to take those reps. That's the reality of the league. Nobody hands you a job, you take it. Now put all of that together. Watson under the gun, Flacco providing stability, Zappe bringing competition, and Stefanski orchestrating the whole thing with surgical precision. Suddenly what looked like chaos starts to look like a training ground. A perfect storm. The kind of quarterback room where iron sharpens iron, where greatness doesn't just emerge, it's demanded. And here's the kicker. Shedeur thrives in environments like this. Go back to Colorado. Go back to Jackson State. Every time people doubted him, every time people threw shade his way, he elevated, he played bigger, he fought harder. So ask yourself, what happens when you put that mentality inside a quarterback room designed to apply non-stop pressure? That's not chaos. That's a blueprint for greatness. And if you're not seeing it yet, don't worry, because by the time Shedeur steps onto the field for real, the results of this chaos will be undeniable. You ever notice how the NFL media works? It's not just coverage anymore. It's a machine built on clicks, headlines, and hot takes. And if tearing down a young quarterback gets those clicks, they don't hesitate. And for months now, Shedeur Sanders has been the prime target. From the second he left Colorado, the narrative started flying. He's not NFL ready. He only looked good because of college competition. He's more hype than substance. That's the storyline they've been feeding fans, and too many people bought it. But here's the truth. Those narratives are fake, manufactured, because the same people calling him overhyped never actually broke down the tape. They ignored the numbers. They ignored the poise. They ignored the fact that Shedeur carved up defenses while playing behind one of the weakest offensive lines in college football. They ignored the reality, because tearing him down was easier. And then out of nowhere, the narrative machine got punched right in the mouth. By who? Not a fan, not a coach, but a rival quarterback. Cam Ward. The guy drafted in the first round. The guy people said deserved it more. He went on record and said straight up, a lot of stuff out there on him ain't really the truth, bro. Do you realize how rare that is? How wild that is? Quarterbacks competing for the same spotlight don't usually defend each other. They don't stick their neck out for the guy the media is burying. But Ward did, and that tells you everything. When your competition is standing up and saying, nah, y'all are lying about him, that means the disrespect has gone too far. That means even the guys lined up to benefit from your downfall can't stomach the garbage being spread anymore. And if Cam Ward sees the truth, if a first-round pick sees Shedeur as a legit peer, why can't the so-called experts? See, that's the part that fires me up. This isn't just about football anymore. Shedeur isn't just fighting defensive schemes on Sundays. He's battling an entire industry that would rather paint him as a meme than acknowledge his talent. And that's what makes this story bigger than stats or depth charts. Because what Stefanski is building in Cleveland isn't just a development plan, it's a counterattack against the narrative machine. And let me be real with you, the machine is powerful. It shapes perception. It changes contracts. It affects careers. We've seen guys get labeled early, bust, distraction, can't play at this level, and those labels stick like glue, even when the truth says otherwise. That's what Shedeur is up against right now. But here's where it gets good. For the first time, we're seeing cracks in that machine. We're seeing players like Cam Ward tell the truth. We're seeing coaches like Stefanski refuse to play the media game and instead talk about being extremely intentional. The noise is still there, but slowly the truth is breaking through. And when Shedeur finally steps on the field and proves it himself, the same people writing him off now will be scrambling to rewrite history later. Because let's be honest, this isn't just hate anymore. This is fear. Fear of what happens if Shedeur Sanders succeeds. Fear of what it means when the guy they buried becomes the guy who buries them. And that moment is coming, sooner than they think. You know what people always forget about the NFL? Growth doesn't always happen in the spotlight. Sometimes the most important transformation happens in the shadows, away from the cameras, behind closed doors where nobody's paying attention. And right now, that's exactly where Shedeur Sanders is. He's not wasting away on the bench. He's being molded, piece by piece, rep by rep. Kevin Stefanski used the phrase extremely intentional, and man, that matters. Because in this league, too many rookies are just thrown into the fire and left to survive, sink or swim. That's how careers get ruined before they even start.
But in Cleveland, they're not letting Shedeur sink. They're not leaving it up to chance. They're designing a program to accelerate him. Every meeting, every drill, every film session, it's all part of a bigger plan. Nothing is random. Nothing is wasted. Think about what that really means. It means Shedeur isn't just showing up to practice. He's being guided through how to practice. He's not just sitting in a meeting room. He's being trained how to study. His day isn't just filled with football. It's crafted around maximizing his growth. That's rare in the NFL. And when you get that kind of structure, it changes everything. We've seen this story before. Aaron Rodgers sitting behind Brett Favre, studying the game until it became second nature. Patrick Mahomes learning behind Alex Smith, mastering Andy Reid's system before exploding into the league. Even Tom Brady watching, waiting, absorbing, until the moment came to take over. That's the company Shedeur could be keeping right now. Because just like those legends, he's not being ignored. He's being built. And let's not forget the part that makes Shedeur different, his mindset. This isn't some spoiled rookie expecting to be handed the keys. He's been under pressure his entire life. From Jackson State to Colorado, every step came with doubt, with people waiting for him to fail. And every single time he rose higher. That's why Stefanski's plan works, because Shedeur has the IQ, the discipline, and the hunger to take everything he's learning in the shadows and turn it into something special when the lights finally hit. Picture this. While the media focuses on Watson's health, on Flacco's age, on depth chart drama, Shedeur is in the lab, quietly stacking knowledge, quietly mastering the playbook, quietly building chemistry with receivers. Nobody's talking about it now, but one day, when he steps on the field, it's gonna look like he skipped levels, like he jumped the line, and the league won't understand how it happened. But we'll know. We'll know it was intentional. We'll know it was by design. We'll know that Cleveland didn't just stash Shedeur on the bench. They molded him into something bigger than anyone expected. And that's what makes this so exciting. Because when growth happens in the shadows, the reveal is always explosive. And the NFL has no idea what's coming. Let me tell you something right now. When Shedeur Sanders finally gets his shot, the NFL will not be ready. Whether it happens because Watson can't stay healthy, whether it happens because age catches up to Flacco, or whether it happens because Stefanski simply can't keep this kid off the field any longer. The moment Shedeur takes that first real snap under center, everything changes. And I mean everything. This isn't just about Cleveland having another quarterback. This is about the Browns planting a flag in the ground and saying, we're done playing catch-up. We're building for the future, and the future is now. Stefanski's development plan isn't just smart, it's revolutionary. You don't hear coaches openly admit they're building something extremely intentional. You don't hear them talk about accounting for every single minute of a rookie's day. That's not normal. That's not routine. That's dynasty building. That's the kind of plan you put in place when you're preparing a quarterback to lead your franchise for the next decade, not just hold a clipboard for a season. And when that plan collides with Shedeur's mentality, that chip on his shoulder, that relentless work ethic, that ability to block out the noise, what you get is dangerous. What you get is a quarterback who isn't just talented, but prepared. Prepared in ways most rookies never are. Prepared in ways that make the transition look effortless. And that's why when Shedeur finally steps on the field, it's not going to look like a rookie figuring things out. It's going to look like a quarterback who was ready all along. We've seen this movie before. The league doubted Jalen Hurts, said he couldn't throw well enough. Now he's leading the Eagles to deep playoff runs. They doubted Lamar Jackson, said his style wouldn't work in the NFL. Now he's an MVP. They doubted Patrick Mahomes too, called him reckless, too raw, too unconventional. And now, he's rewriting the history books. The NFL has a history of being wrong about quarterbacks who don't fit the mold. And I promise you, Shedeur Sanders is next on that list. So here's my prediction. Within the next couple of years, maybe sooner than anyone thinks, Shedeur Sanders will step on that field and silence every critic. He's going to prove that all the hate, all the spin, all the media narratives were nothing but noise. And when he does, it's not just going to be a win for him. It's going to be a blueprint for how the next generation of quarterbacks should be developed. Forget throwing rookies into the fire. Forget letting them sink or swim. Stefanski is showing the league a new way. Intentional, structured, strategic. And it's going to change everything. So to every fan watching this, I'll say it plain. Believe now. Don't wait until the headlines flip. Don't wait until the same analysts who doubted Shedeur start pretending they believed in him all along. Believe now. Because the storm is coming. And when it hits, the entire NFL is going to look back at this moment and realize they missed the signs. Shedeur Sanders isn't just another rookie quarterback. He's the beginning of something bigger. And we are about to witness it unfold.